And this one, where it says staff blockade, right? And then it has Section 39 invoked. Do you know what that means?
I don't know why they invoked it there.
Right. And so I take it when you were having this phone call, there was no one else present on the phone other than you and Ms. Jackson, was there?
I don't believe that this is a phone call any longer.
Well, if we scroll back up, this is the second page. It's
Yes,
the way
it
it's
said
ordered.
flag to Katie at the top.
Flag to Katie, okay. And so on February 10th, do you remember if Ms. Jackson was in a meeting with Cabinet?
She is not normally in meetings with Cabinet.
So how could Section 39 is a Cabinet confidence? So how can, this is the problem. Those are my questions.
I like how you just leave. But yeah, we would love to know like a little bit more information about why it's important that this was redacted and it should not be.
Well, it certainly, let's just start talking about accountability and transparency, because that's where we ended off. And in my opinion, that is the reason that Canadians are getting frustrated with Canada. Investors outside of Canada are getting frustrated with Canada because of the lack of transparency and accountability by Canada, by the government of Canada. And we're seeing it so clearly in this inquiry. So these are some of the documents that the government of Canada has submitted. And as you heard last week, or it was earlier this week when, that's infamously when Brendan was asked to leave, is he was asking that these motions that we've been demanded that they be made written. Mm-hmm. And he was waiting for a ruling on the redaction, because when it's made written, nobody knows about it in Canada.
Yeah.
This is on live television. You've got lawyers for everybody on call. There's 6 government lawyers at times that can address these things on the spot. That's what lawyers do. To request that parties do motions in writing is absurd to begin with, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because we don't have the time for that. We're in these hearings all day, every day. So when are you expected to write a motion and then you wait for a ruling? Oral motions make the most sense in this kind of setting. So that's what he was trying to do that day with Alex Cohen. He said he's in the room. I'd like to bring him as a witness. And at that time, Commissioner Rouleau makes a decision. What happens though is that when you make a decision, any decision Commissioner Rouleau makes is judicially reviewable. So we could take it to the court and then ask the court to decide whether or not that decision was proper.
Interesting.
When we don't have a decision, you can't go to court and ask for an opinion. So it's, we seem to be running the clock here. And the government of Canada has been excellent not to provide a very clear and transparent disclosure of documents. So you saw one of the notes there, half of it blanked out. This is from an assistant to Katie Telford. This isn't even Katie Telford's notes herself. And as Katie Telford said, she's not normally, probably never in a cabinet meeting. So why on earth is there a redaction that says Section 39? That's cabinet confidence. There's no basis for that. And with respect to irrelevance, it's a decision of the opposite. There's a negative inference for that one. There's also solicitor-client privilege on so many of the documents. Mm-hmm. And when Lametti was up yesterday, he asked whether you gave instructions or talked to your client about waiving the solicitor-client privilege.
Yeah.
And he said on the stand, it's very weird for a lawyer to be on the stand. Yes, we know Lametti. Keith Wilson was on the stand, but we have nothing to hide. So our clients were comfortable waiving solicitor-client privilege to hear what the advice was from the lawyers. But this is especially concerning for Canadians when now they're changing the legal definition of national security threat and they're hiding behind solicitor-client privilege. It's appalling. And Canada, the federal government needs to be called out on this.
Yeah.
This is zero transparency. And the frustration that we have is the commission is allowing it to happen. Mm-hmm. They should be making rulings. you know, Canada puts in tons of documents, and council has raised, you know, why are these documents going in? Well, we got them, so we're putting them in. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
They have $19 million. They have 20 lawyers. You can make decisions. That's why you're here. You didn't come here just to sit around and watch. I think you came here to structure a process,
Yeah.
and ensure that the mandate
Yeah.
of the commission is fulfilled. And right now it's questionable whether or not that's being fulfilled.
Can we say that it's a bit, I would say, unlawful to do that?
Well, you know, I don't know what the consequences are. It's certainly not fulfilling the mandate of the commission. So why are we going through this? Again, this is a lot of money for Canadians and those participating. And one thing I could if you just think about it for a second, this is why the federal government justified the Emergencies Act. Who was on the stand the longest? Former Chief Slowly. On a municipal level. He wasn't even the chief at the time that it was enacted, or he resigned or whatever that day. Why on earth was he on the stand for 2 days? And Commissioner Lucky was on for, I don't know, what was it, 6 hours, 5 hours?
This is really good.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you for breaking that down, and I'm sure that the viewers find it very, very helpful as well. But it goes as to exactly what you were saying. It's their job to put structure into this process, and I have not gotten the sense as of late that there has been much structure at all, especially when you mentioned that they're supposed to be able to give rulings, so that can be looked over again, right? Looked over again. But if you can't, like you said, if you can't actually make a decision, if you can't do that, you can't go anywhere from that. No decisions can be made based off of rulings that haven't been haven't been decided on.
And like I said, it's just absurd to have to do it in writing when all the lawyers are there and the decision maker is there, and we're on a tight timeline. Like we've heard this over and over.
Oh yeah.
And like, why don't we talk about Amber Heard trial for a moment and Johnny Depp? Because that was on national news. And what they did though, and it was very smart, the way they managed it, because they did evidence every day, which the public was allowed to see. And then Friday or Saturday or whatever, they had no cameras in the courtroom, and they did procedural matters. So why aren't we doing that? We're all here or on Zoom. That was something that the commission could have set forward, so that when procedural issues come up, you're not getting shut down like Brendan was on Tuesday. He's trying to make a motion, but what was more important? The schedule, not the truth, not getting all of the information out, not accountability, not transparency, but the schedule.